Let's bow our head in prayer. Almighty and eternal supreme being, the light of all lights, the creator of the universe, we give you thanks and sing your praise alone, for you are guide and protector. Supreme being, continue to bestow upon us your mercies and compassion, that we shall be pleased and be pleased all in the city of San Fernando, that we shall glorify your name to the world through our living examples. Almighty being, may your light shine upon this city and our country. Keep us away from all forms of darkness, and that we shall always acknowledge your greatness, for without your presence, nothing will be achieved. Amen.
And now we will have the safety briefings. Thank you.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the San Fernando City Corporation Council Chamber. Please be advised that in the event of an emergency, an alarm would be raised. All persons are then required to exit orderly out of the chamber through the nearest marked exit or emergency door and assemble at the muster point at the bandstand Harris Promenade. There, a head count will be taken to ensure that everyone was accounted for and safe. Further instructions.
Members, this meeting is hereby called to order for the 29th statutory meeting held on the 22nd of May 2019. And see you as listening to the national anthem being played. I think we should submit copies of this anthem to the Naprema Bowl and Supper, because this anthem was sung by students of all the high schools in San Fernando, and musical accompaniment by the students of the high school in San Fernando, because I attend a couple of functions and they may have groups singing not well presented, and doesn't really represent or reflect on San Fernando. So we should make an effort to submit copies to Supper and Naprema Bowl for events and functions. Matters, we're looking for the minutes of the meeting. Corrections or omissions, members? Any corrections or omissions? If not, could I ask for confirmation, please? Could someone?
Your Worship, Mr. CEO, members of council, members of administration, Springville Paradise rises for the confirmation of the minutes of the 29th statutory meeting held on the 22nd of May 2019.
Okay. Second.
Your Worship, members of council, Chief Executive Officer, members of administration, Lazy 4A Supero rises to second.
All in favor? Any against? Any abstention? The motion is carried. Matters arising from the minutes, page 2. Page 3. Four, 5. Uh, 11.1 issues at the San Fernando General Hospital. Just to inform members that I've had ongoing discussion with the CEO regarding the issues there, and what they outlined to me, because this has been in the public domain for quite a while, is that the boundaries for San Fernando have been extended over a period of time, and the SWARA is responsible for areas as far as Icacas in the south, Rio Claro, I think, in the east, and Freeport in the north, which means that they're covering a wide area, and all these people are coming to the San Fernando General Hospital, and it's almost impossible to provide parking space. However, the interim, they're looking at other recommendations and suggestions to accommodate, but what they're saying, you must take into consideration the volume of persons that they're looking after. And of course, as we now have a new culture in Trinidad, we all want to park at the entrance to the facility. What we said prior to that is that there's a parking space at the bottom of the hospital where you can park there, and the other parking areas around the hospital where you can pay and park. But as usual, we want to park at the entrance, and then you also have a high volume of staff with vehicles. And, you know, the people who use social media to commentate on who is doing what and responsibility. Let me make it clear that the San Fernando City Corporation has no jurisdiction of what goes on at the San Fernando General Hospital. It falls under the Ministry of Health and the board at SWARA. Also on 12.1, we must take the opportunity to say that, which we'll speak about later on, that the venue and the facility has more or less reopened, and we have now found a committee who are NGO that's looking after the facility, and we started it last week. There are 2 servings per month with the hope that will increase. We're also asking the public to desist from feeding the homeless person on the promenade and as they continue to do, because what it does is that you, at the end of the serving, the garbage collection, the gathering of garbage is too much, especially on a Sunday evening when our staff do not come out until Monday morning, and it needs to be. If you have and you want to make a contribution or a donation, you should contact the mayor's office, and the food should be sent to the center, because it's not sanitary and it's not healthy. So we are asking the public to desist from feeding the homeless persons. Not that we do not appreciate the effort that you're making, but it can be done in a more organized fashion as opposed to what currently exists. We must commend the NGO for the work that they're doing so far. We started on a once-a-month basis. It's now increased, and it may very well be a weekly or maybe twice a week operation as we move forward looking after the homeless person. We're also considering, I know Deputy CEO, you were involved, and the Councillor for Social Welfare. We look at the possibility of having overnight operation with those persons, because with the high rainy season, you're driving by and you're seeing the homeless persons under the cardboard, and it's really not something that we really want to see or to encourage. So we're looking at the possibility of having them accommodated. They can come in at 6 in the evening and probably leave early in the morning with a shower. So it's something that we're working on, and it's really a work in progress. Page 6. 7. On page 13, on page 7, 13.4, just to inform members that the committee with the responsibility for renaming the streets in San Fernando have been active, and they're having ongoing meetings. So we'll need some information like cadastral sheets on the boundaries of San Fernando. For instance, we propose to rename the street between Lower High Street and Robertandara Street, the Montano Street, after the Montano establishment. What we require there is, if we were renaming the street, we should say this street on the boundary of so-and-so, or east or west of so-and-so, will be now renamed so-and-so. So we'll need some documents in terms of, and we also need to probably ask our CorpSec to attend the next meeting with this committee, so we can get the legal aspect, what need to be gazetted as we move forward, because in the renaming of streets entails and it involves deeds and legal procedures that need to be dealt with, especially where you have long-established business places existing in those areas. So the committee is coming up with a comprehensive document in terms of how we move forward with it, and I must commend Ms. Joyce Caesar, the chairperson, and Ms. Deborah Jean-Baptiste and Mr. David Sami, the committee, and we'll probably ask them to do a presentation at the next statutory meeting, so we can more or less inform the public what our approach would be. I know there's a gentleman in the audience who is not too happy with one of the recommendations for Independence Avenue. I'm very happy to inform him that may remain as is, because there's another plan for that. So we're not going to fail, because the persons who you've been living on a street, and the street is named so and so for all these years, and there's a sort of sentimental connection there. You don't want your street changed. But our historical research and analysis is telling us that some of those street names are not worthy. And we have to ask how it came about. What significant contribution were made by these individuals? What transpired in the past is that politicians, mayors, governors named these streets after themselves. And we think that the landscape of San Fernando was more or less shaped by several persons, not only politicians, but businessmen and social workers and people who made very, very, very noble contribution. So we like to give them an opportunity for their legacy, for their contribution to be recognized. So this is what the committee is doing, and also allow us to do some research in the periphery and San Fernando. So we will ask the councillors to also research their ED and get gather information. I know Councillor Montano had started a project when he was in charge of the heritage or that sort of thing. So we can get information passed to this committee. So it may very well mean that we have some documented information on the history and the development of San Fernando. The one person who came to me and said, why don't we name Harris Promenade after somebody else? And I said, well, when you look at the contribution made by Lord Harris in terms of this Harris Promenade, there's no way we can change that. Lord Harris is the person who said, you can get the promenade, you can get the space, but there must be schools, churches, institutions, a police station, so we can have some order in structure San Fernando. So in that regard, it's justified that Mr. Harris, Lord Harris, whatever he was, his name will remain with it. But we're looking at that as we're going forward. And there's somebody who said, well, the mayor only want to name streets after Pan Men. Well, I would just make it quite clear that is not so. We are doing our research and we're doing our analysis of the persons who have contributed. Now, let me go a little further. The two persons that we have recognized to date is Mr. Ken Fillmore and Mr. Bobby Mohammed. Nobody could deny their contribution to San Fernando and overall the arts. Mr. Fillmore, people came from as far as Japan to attend his funeral. What I saw for Carnival going this year, foreigners were posing at a library corner and taking pictures to take back. And that speaks volume. There's another person who said, the street is so short, why we didn't give a longer street? My response to that was, a hectare of land in Cedros and a hectare of land in Port of Spain, which has more, and a half lot of land in San Fernando or in Port of Spain, which has more value. And that's how we have to look at it. Library Corner is iconic and a landmark space in San Fernando. Mr. Bobby Mohammed, which the street was named after him, was the youngest arranger at age 21 that went to Port of Spain and won a panorama for San Fernando. Never in the history. I was alive and wrong at that time, and we were still jumping up when at the end of the night when that happened. At his age, his contribution and how we transformed, the pan. And not only he won, but they beat a band called Panam North Stars and Desperados. That was not an easy thing to do. So we must recognize Bobby and others. But we're looking at other persons who contribute, and it's not about just pan people. So I beg to differ with the opinion of one or two who are making comments about that. Any other item on page 7? No? Announcement.
Your Worship, CEO, members of Council, Honorable Navet rise for the following announcements. Comrade Winston Jardine, also known as Burneck, died on the 11th of June 2019. Mr. Jardine was a former member of Southern Marines, Marabella Festival Council, and also a stalwart of the OWTU. He was buried on the 19th of June 2019. He will be missed by the community of Marabella. We also mourn the passing of Miss Beulah Maureen Tom Nee James. She was the mother of Rianne Watson, employee of the Daily Paid establishment. She was born on the 8th of September 1956 and died on the 22nd of May 2019. Her funeral was held on the 25th of May 2019. We also had Miss Juliana Chong, a former lioness from the San Fernando Lions. She was born on the 4th of April 1949, died on the 12th of June, and was buried on the 17th of June. She made sterling contributions to the city of San Fernando. We also mourn her death. We also have Mr. Charles Chiranji. He was born on the 15th of November 1959 and died on the 23rd of June 2019. His funeral will be held on Wednesday this afternoon at 12 o'clock at Rushwood Street. We have another This is Ms. Okay. This one will be a little challenging, Deputy. You will do it? Okay, it's a bit challenging in that some of it isn't Muslim. So she was a Muslim person. So I would ask the Deputy Mayor to make that announcement, please.
Thank you, Councillor. Your Worship, members of council, CEO, members of administration, we mourn the passing of Ms. Jennifer Baksh, who was active executive member of the STRA, the South Trinidad Rifle Association, belonged to the well-known Majid and Baksh families of San Fernando. She was part of the family that owns Car Plus, Acme, a number of businesses throughout the city, and was very active within the city, Your Worship, and lived all her life at Cepero Street in San Fernando. She passed on the 10th of June and was buried shortly after. Thank you.
May we all rise, please? Just a minute's silence. Papers and correspondence to be lead.
Good morning, Your Worship. Morning, members of council, members of admin. Letter addressed to His Worship the Mayor, Alderman Junior Regrello. Dear Sir, we, the retired nurses of the basic nursing education program of the San Fernando General Hospital, wish to thank you and your staff for allowing us to use the City Hall Auditorium on May 5th at an affordable cost to host our luncheon program. This gesture contributed immensely to the success of an event which marked our 50th anniversary in this noble profession of nursing. We could not have done it without your input. Thank you and your staff. Sincerely yours, Jennifer Joseph.
Committee reports for acceptance. Finance.
Your Worship, Mr. CEO, members of council, members of administration, Springville Paradise rises for the acceptance of the Finance, Planning and Allocation Resource meetings held on the 7th, 14th, and 22nd of May, 2019.
Your Worship, Mr. CEO, members of council, members of administration, Marabella East is pleased to second.
All in favor? Any against? Any abstention? Motion is carried. Public health.
Good morning, Your Worship, members of council, Mr. CEO, members of administration. I, Alderman Johannes Deonrain, do rise for the acceptance of the Public Health Committee report meeting held on the 7th of May 2019.
Your Worship, Mr. CEO. Mr. CEO, members of council, Marabella South, Vistibella rise to second.
All in favor? Any against? Any abstention? The motion is carried. Physical infrastructure.
Pleasant morning, Your Worship, Mr. CEO, members of council, members of administration, Councillor Arnold Sugrim rise for the acceptance of the committee report of physical infrastructure and transport meeting held on the 14th of May 2019.
Seconder, please.
Good day, Your Worship, Mr. CEO, members of council, members of administration. Legislator for West Laramie rises to second.
All in favor? Any against? Any abstention? The motion is carried. Personnel.
Good morning, Your Worship, Mr. CEO, members of council. I, Alderman Thomas, rise for the acceptance of the Personnel Committee report held on the 14th of May, 2019.
Your Worship, CEO, members of council, Monreport rise to second.
All in favor? Any against? Any abstention? The motion is carried. Committee reports for adoption. Planning and development.
Your Worship, members of council, Mr. CEO, members of administration, I rise for the adoption of the Planning and Development Committee report of meeting held on 14th May 2019.
Can I have a seconder with alacrity?
Your Worship, and the 22nd of May as well.
Your Worship, members of council, CEO, members of administration, laissez for East Cepero rises to second.
All in favor? Any against? Any abstention? The motion is carried. Clerks and institution.
Your Worship, Mr. CEO, members of council, Marbella South Visabella rise for the adoption of the Parks and Institution Committee meeting report held on the 14th of May 2019.
Your Worship, Mr. CEO, members of council, members of administration, Leisure for West, Larmain, rises a second.
All in favor? Any against? Any abstention? The motion is carried. General purposes.
Your Worship, members of council, CEO, members of administration, I rise for the adoption of the General Purposes Committee reports of meetings held on the 14th of May 2019 and the 22nd of May 2019.
Your Worship, Mr. CEO, members of council, members of administration, Marbella East is pleased to second.
All in favor? Any against? Any abstention? The motion is carried. Education and youth development.
Your Worship, members of council, CEO, members of administration, I rise for the Education and Youth Development Committee report of the meeting held on the 14th of May 2019.
Second.
Your Worship, Mr. CEO, members of council, I, Alderman Shane Samuel, do rise to second the motion.
All in favor? Any against? Any abstention? The motion is carried. Stay on your legs. Tourism and heritage.
Yes, sir. Morning, Your Worship, members of council, Mr. CEO, members of admin, I, Alderman Shane Samuel, do rise for the adoption of the Tourism and Heritage Committee report of meeting held on the 7th of May 2019.
Your Worship, Mr. CEO, members of council, members of administration, Leisure for West, Larmain, rises a second.
All in favor? Any against? Any abstention? The motion is carried. Arts and culture.
Your Worship, Mr. CEO, members of council, members of administration, Springville Paradise rises for the adoption of the Arts and Culture meeting held on the 7th of May 2019.
Your Worship, Marbella West do rise to second.
All in favor? Any against? Any abstention? The motion is carried. Public claims and liabilities.
Your Worship, Mr. CEO, members of administration, members of council, Leisure for West, Larmain rises for the adoption of the committee reports for public claims and liability held on the 7th of May 2019.
Good morning, Your Worship, members of council, Mr. CEO, members of administration, I, Alderman Deonray.
All in favor? Any against? Any abstention? The motion is carried. Sports and social services.
Your Worship, CEO, members of council, Monipo Navet rise for the adoption of the report of the Sports and Social Services Committee meeting held on the 7th of May 2019.
Second, please.
Good morning, Your Worship, members of council, Mr. CEO, members of administration, I do rise to second.
All in favor? Any against? Any abstention? The motion is carried. A deputy for Security and Disaster Management Committee.
Your Worship, Mr. CEO, members of council, I, Alderman Thomas, rise for the adoption of the Security and Disaster Management Committee report held on the 7th of May 2019.
Second.
Your Worship, Mr. CEO, members of administration, members of council, Leisure for West, Larmain rises a second.
All in favor? Any against? The abstention? The motion is carried. Our final committee is the Assessment Committee report for meeting held on the 7th of May 2019. Who is standing?
Your Worship, Mr. CEO, members of council, members of administration, Springville Paradise rises for the adoption of the assessment meeting held on the 7th of May 2019.
Seconded by?
Your Worship, Mr. CEO, members of council, members of admin, Marbella East is pleased to second.
All. As we move into the next item on the agenda, petitions, Mr. CEO.
Your Worship, members of council, members of admin, no petition.
Do we have any motions?
No motion today, Your Worship.
Do we have any personal explanation?
Personal explanation today, Your Worship.
No. No personal. Do we have any questions, Mr. CEO?
No questions today, Your Worship.
Thank you, Mr. CEO. Members, it's my pleasure to announce that the early phases of the upgrade to Skinner Park has commenced through UDCOT, the executing agency for this project. As we all know, a stakeholder meeting was held last Monday, where the project manager, members of council, sporting bodies, and the public met. During a very spirited debate, and thanks to several meetings previously held with the primary sporting bodies in San Fernando, speedy progress was made. This result stemmed from passion and determination of the main disciplines of basketball, netball, tennis, cycling, and football. The ideas and experiences were sent to both UDCOT and the contractor, which will be incorporated into the plan. The redevelopment upgrades broaches the realms of both the economic and non-economic facets of the development of our city. In the short and medium term, it is obvious that there will be a positive impact on employment in San Fernando, directly and indirectly, as the contractor has been mandated that 40% of the labor force must come from the city, as well as opportunities for small contractors. This will put our city on a proper pathway to sporting development and looking at sport and sporting activities as a business geared with the possibilities for social and cultural development. With San Fernando positioning itself as the bedrock and foundation for pursuit in sport on a national and international scale, with sporting icons such as Hazley Crawford, who started as a primary school runner at the park. He must be a prime example for us to emulate. The responsibility of positioning our city lies in all of us, members of council, the administration, and workers of the San Fernando City Corporation and the private citizens of our city. While it is imperative that these improvements are undertaken, it is only in conjunction with the efficient execution of policies and public initiatives that we'll all have a powerful buffer that will mitigate the effects of the turbulent and difficult economic challenges we have been faced with in recent times. As has been mentioned several times before, San Fernando has shown its inherent capacity to evolve and adapt its primary economic drivers over its 200-year history as a town and as a city. Now in this new era of our national development, fueled by an extensive and in-depth look of our growth using the scientific approach as well as many social examples from other countries, we must globally recognize the need for the development of human capital. Recently, I was given the opportunity, together with the CEO, to travel to Norway and Sweden. Here we participated in a series of seminars and witnessed the success achieved by their local government bodies towards urban and sustainable development. We were able to seek advice and knowledge on ways these policies can be integrated into our own city through cultural cooperation. The advancement in both urban development and policy implementation that we witnessed firsthand was inspiring and educational. In so doing, it is my belief that the social developments in both these countries should act as a goal and a benchmark towards which we should strive to achieve. In particular, a difficult task but necessary is the addressing of the issues of the homeless in our city. As I outlined earlier on, we must recognize the work done by those who are working on the NGO, and of course, the former mayor and now Senator Qasim Hussein, whose brainchild it was. We will also begin to actively engage in any other NGO or persons who wish to volunteer their time towards this cause. Once done in a controlled and orderly manner and under the guidelines of the San Fernando City Corporation and the council members, the path towards attaining a better quality of life for all our citizens will be best beset with the challenges. So far, the council have had the pleasure to interact with the litany of individuals and organizations that have the inherent capacity to surmount these challenges. As we are still faced with several challenges, I struggle to comprehend the logic behind the transfer of police officers. Presently, we have an inspector from San Fernando, someone who knows the terrain inside out, but was transferred to Point 14 Corporation. Similarly, an inspector born and bred in Point 14 was transferred to San Fernando. These transfers severely impact efficient performance as they experience daily commute challenges and, of course, working in an unfamiliar territory. Another matter brought to my attention is the volume of illegal structures in and around the city. Just this week, the CEO, engineer, and myself had to visit an ongoing matter on Sugrim Street in Gulf View, where complaints have been ongoing about a resident whose adjustments upgrade is creating no end of for other residents. In this regard, we are warning residents. We are warning residents that the engineering department will be paying particular attention to these innovations and ensure that the guidelines and building codes of the city are met. This will also apply to business persons who operate in a residential area and extend their activities to beyond working hours. The residents of Independence Avenue have been complaining about a garage opposite Sukaran Street on Independence Avenue that operates almost on a 24-hour period, which speaks to noise pollution and other discomforts to students who are preparing for exams. In this regard, we'll be addressing these matters. Members, I would like to thank the Carnival fraternity in particular for their patience as we address the outstanding matters to be dealt with. And it's also important that we have the facts. Our Carnival budget for Carnival 2019 and financial allocation from NCC was $400,000. When I was the convener of Carnival here in 2003, which is almost 16 years ago, the budget was 1.2 million. So we have gone backwards, and we have made it quite public what our issues were with the NCC and other agencies. That 400,000 could barely take care of physical infrastructure, take care of all the different costs that is entailed and involved in Carnival. What we have been doing on a month-to-month basis is just appealing to friends and donors and well-wishers to make a contribution. So what we have been doing is reducing the bills and the payments that we have to be made. So every month of statutory meeting, we take the opportunity to distribute some prizes, and I'm very happy to inform the two representatives and this morning that we are going to be addressing that, the Calypsonians this morning. And I want to thank the Calypsonians and those who performed and are receiving prizes for their patience as we start the process. Our distribution, I'll ask the councillors to assist me. We are starting with the 2018 Junior Calypso finalists and presentation. And councillors, please stand by on the checks, Ms. Anne-Marie. So we will start with the 5th place, Miss Cindy Ann Bigford. Is she here? If not, so not present. So all 5 of them are Cindy Ann, Nicholas Lucas, Marcus McDonald. Now them here, I'm seeing Mr. Kevin Callis. He is here. Let him receive all those prizes, you know. So Mr. Callis, can you come up with Mr. Callis have grown up under us. We know of him. He is Mr. Dr. Leroy Callis' grandson, an ex-tempo champion and worthy of all kind of accolades. So he will receive from Miss Cindy Ann Bigford. Could I ask a councillor to Councillor Dion, Alderman Dion Ryan as your closest in the interest of time. As Ms. Anne-Marie, Alderman Dion Ryan is doing equal distribution. On the other end down there, with Ms. Anne-Marie, take the checks down at the corner with you, please. Everything with you? Right. All right. It's a photo op opportunity for Alderman Dion. Alderman, Ms. Anne-Marie, Alderman Dion has to get the check. Cindy Ann, right. So, receive on behalf. Thank you, Mr. And hold your ground, Mr. Callis, and Alderman, do Miss Cindy, Mr. Nicholas Lucas. Right. Alderman Thomas. Yeah. Alderman Thomas will do Mr. Marcus McDonald. While you're your feet and you're pulling down the back of the dandan, right? You'll do Mr. Kevin Callis. Alderman Thomas, remember you're live on television and you're on YouTube and you're all about, so make sure you're right. Good. Congratulations, Mr. Callis. We'll now call on Alderman Samuel to the winner of the category, Mr. Rivaldo London, another very young talent representing the South. Alderman Samuel might make the Monday night event with this one, for sure. Thank you, Alderman Samuel, and thank you, Mr. Callis, and continue to make us proud. Moving to the junior Calypso finalists. And who's this evening again? Mr. McDonald is not here. We're going to actually took a representative to receive on behalf of those missing. Yes, sir. Councillor Sugrim. Mr. Marcus McDonald. Yeah, you're receiving on behalf of Marcus McDonald. Is Marcus Alexis here? No, so Tuko receiving on behalf of Marcus Alexis. Tuko, hold on, you are receiving. Marcus Alexis. Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Williams, third place, Tariq Haynes. Very dapper in his grey Beatles style suit. More fabric than body. Hey, is Kai Salazar here? So Tuka representing Councillor William Amable Wilson. And the winner there is Cindy Ann Bigford. She's not here either. Councillor Montano to do the needful. Congratulations. So we move into the other area. We have Ulrich Gibson. Is that Ricky Gibson? So okay, Ricky Gibson, Ulrich Gibson used to be singing with Johnny and Ricky. Yeah, very good crooner. Understand he's not well? Give him our regards. So who we have there? Deputy Mayor Ulrich, yes. Congratulations. Hold your ground, Deputy. Just collect. Right. So we now call the next recipient who is in the house, the Pharaoh. No. Thank you, Tuko. Thank you, Tuko. Thank you. The Pharaoh, known as in another incarnation as Darren Greenwich. Right. He is a shadow. I wouldn't say impersonator. But normally in this prize, Deputy hold your hand there and pose a little more. We usually get a little verse from somebody, you know. We had to get something. I don't know if you want to get away to somebody before we stand by, Mr. Callis. Mr. Callis, stand by, start getting your thoughts for a few impromptu. Right, just now, you have to do a Santi Mani take. So we call it the convener. The next one, thank you, Deputy. Nicholas Lucas, is he here? Okay, Tuka will receive, and the convener will do for Nicholas Lucas, the winner of the Calypso Monarch. And congratulations, is in order. From what I gather, we just paid out about $20,000, if not more. And we're not allowed the carpenters to get away with that. So we had to get a little something. Pharaoh, you want to give us a little something? The Pharaoh? You want to get a little, let's get something yeah. A couple of, come, we backing you up here, you know, you must get something. Mr. Callis could do the backup for you.
Good evening.
Come center stage, so try that.
Good evening, everybody.
Good morning.
Mr. Mayor, always a setup, eh?
Yeah.
Since in the days of skiffle. Let me say thanks for the opportunity. So I'll do a verse and a chorus.
We could live with that.
We can live with that.
Yeah.
I had a dream, a lovely dream. I had a dream. What did I dream? I dreamed that the mighty shadow came to me with a song. Now that I passed and gone, boy, Pharaoh, you have to carry on. I know that you love my music. You have performed it well. I give you this formula, boy. Who no one cares to spell, and he tell me, give them music to make them jump up.
Make them jump up.
Give them music to make them free up.
Make them free up.
Make them start to whine, boy, till they lose their mind. Give them a sweet, sweet melody with a haunted harmony and a thunderous bass line. Boy, the short to jump and whine. Pharaoh, what I tell you? That's the formula. Pharaoh, that's the formula. That's the formula. You got to take the jugular. That's the formula. Make them jump up and free up. That's the formula. We got to take the jugular. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Love you, floor.
And as the Pharaoh would have said, so shall it be written, so shall it be done. But I'm now traveling. You just returned from St. Vincent, where he just came back and spreading the culture wings, and congratulations. And I think the concept, you have to understand, you know, most of us don't use our imagination. He said that he had a dream, and Shadow spoke to him, and Shadow gave him ideas. So he used the shadow concept and used some of the shadow hook lines and represented himself as Shadow. Just as Shadow was a little better looking than you, right? However, you know, I don't know who you're going to be coming after next year, but congratulations, and we look forward to your contribution. And we will end the morning presentation with a extempo by our extempo champion and national champion, Kevin Callis. So what we supposed to do? We have to do the chorus.
Yes, it's very simple. Good morning, everyone. I'm sure we all know how it goes. Yeah. Yeah? Do you want me to start? All right.
Yeah.
Ba-da-ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum.
Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-ba-dee. Bum, bum, ba-dim, ba-ba-dee, like. Bum, 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 ba-dum.
Hey, I'll get it track. Ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum. Ba-dum, well, look back and well, good morning, everyone. I want you all to know the best city in Trinidad is San Fernando. And right now I will sip it up here. Some of the best talents, we know they grow up here. And today right now I am very happy. After a long while I get me money. So right about now I want you to stop and pause and give all these people here a big round of applause. Ba-da-ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum. Ba-da-ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum. Ba-da-ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum. Well, they call me up here and I really want to know why I'm the only person singing extempo. So right about now I like to encourage anybody at the table to come join me on the stage. All you have to do is come and sing a verse. A counselor or alderman, you do not have to rehearse. So right about now I will sip it up here. I feel today we going and hear a verse from the mayor. Ba-da-ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum. Ba-da-ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum. Ba-da-ba-dum, ba-dum. What really going on? The mayor don't want to sing the extempo song. I really don't understand what really going on with this man. All you have to do is sing we an extempo. That is all we want you to do for so. And right about now I don't mean to sound too dreaded. that shall be bald head. Thank you very much, everyone. Yeah.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Members of local government reform coming up, and we very well start singing Calypso because the kind of prize money we paid out full time. But we must thank you all for this morning and thank all the Calypsonians and for making this what it is as we end on a very high note. And you can't end it better than with the arts and culture. Thank you so much.